Good morning, traders. So we're looking at the Aussie, the South African top 40. If you haven't subscribed, you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We do 3 videos a day, every day, and sort of look at the setups for the day and also long-term swing trades. And if you're looking at any other instruments, please let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do for you as well. So the daily, we've got a fairly interesting bar, which is a very strong bar, which we've sort of opened on its low and closed pretty close to its high. And interesting, I've left the levels in from yesterday, so we can just have a look at that on the lower time frames. But you can see how we gapped up to this level, held the level, and then accelerated off there. So we had a brilliant close yesterday on JSE, and the reality is this move yesterday was 850 point move, which is fairly significant. However, looking at the broader picture here, I'm still not convinced that that is anything other than a potential exhaustion bar. Okay. So looking at the other instruments this morning, there's a lot of signals that are indicating that we're in an area of serious resistance on the weekly time frames. And that is the one thing that's concerning me at the moment. Anyway, so in other words, what I'm getting at is this here is still range for me, but, and I say but for a reason, and I'll show you now why. Okay, so kind of have a bit of a rounding top forming, and the 200-day EMA is what is holding us up at the moment. So the question is, are we looking at a second move to the downside brewing, or are we looking at a continuation of this to break to the upside? So that is a big question we have today. Before we get to low time frames, let's just quickly look at what's happening with anything that could influence us today. NASDAQ, it was up 0.9%, and it's sort of flat at the moment. Rand dollar, 13.40, not much change from yesterday. Or basically this week, it's been hovering around that area. And then we also have 10 cents at the moment, which is flat, so there's nothing really there. S&P was 0.5% up. Okay, there's nothing really to read into that, and as I said, I am worried about the international markets at the moment. They are looking a little bit suspect, sort of looking like they're hitting areas of major resistance at the moment. Okay, so let's just get down to the lower time frames, see what's going on here. So you can see through the whole last 3 weeks, it's been chaotic, no real direction. We came down to the 200 EMA and we broke to the upside. Now, do we have a level here on the 4 hour? More than likely we do. So there's the one and there's the other one. So what I'm doing is I'm picking up the fractal levels here, okay? So you can see that was the first level, there's the second level, and that's pretty much where we closed, right on the second level. Okay, if you look at the oscillator here, we've got diversions. So there's a previous high, there's a current high, there's diversions. Okay, now we were below the alligator, and then we accelerated through the alligator. So there's still no clear direction on the 4 hour whether we are going up or going down. We are still breaking below the alligator, breaking up above the alligator. And when a bar this size, to me, it's always an indication that there's something else brewing. I like to see controlled bars, and we haven't had them in a while. Okay, so in other words, when I say controlled, I'll show you on the lower time frames because there will be something. So these are controlled bars. You can see a big bar, then we start smaller. They're sort of reasonably sized bars. But then if you look on this one, you've got massive bar, small, massive bar. So there's what you're looking for is to start with a big bar here, and then you start getting smaller bars, and then you get a big bar which goes into exhaustion. there was another one here. Here you can see as well what I mean. So you've got control bars at decent sizes and gets to a level before we reverse off it. Okay, so when I see stuff like this, I get a little bit worried because it's just the volatility of this index in actual fact. You often see it. The other thing you can see is there's gaps, and there are gaps on the lower time frames all the way up, and that is another worrying sign. Okay, and we've got a daily gap as well. So let's just get straight down to the half hour, because there's two things I want to do. So the first thing was, this was the closing range. You can see we gapped up. We used it as support. We used it as support again, and that was your signal. Okay, so these first couple of bars here, you would be forgiven to thinking, okay, this is going to go short again. We're under the alligator. But we came back to the closing range. Remember what I said? Closing range is last hour of trading. Okay, so we came back, we tested it once, tested it twice, double bottom on a level with this bar confirming that's your long entry, and up we went. Hovered a bit on the 200 EMA on the 30 minutes and then accelerated through. Okay, so let's just get rid of the noise and let's start looking at what do we have here. So we are at a level, we've closed at a level. There it is there. If we do break through that level, you want to see a pullback and a continuation. I'm not looking for longs, not looking at this chart right now. And the reason being is we are so far extended from the alligator. So what I mean by that is, if we, from where price crossed the alligator, which is here, okay, and I draw up along, you can draw it along the tops, or try to get to the bottom of the last bar here. So just get some kind of an average direction of price, which is that. And I do the same thing here with the teeth, the red line of the alligator. You can see the diversions brewing here. Okay, when it's a controlled, nice, steady climb, you'll see the alligator and price are sort of parallel. Okay, the minute they start, you can see here, here we go. So you can see prices controlled moving up, and the alligator is almost parallel. There's a slight deviation, but it's not crazy. But the minute you see massive deviation like this, see this gap up, look at this, how the deviation goes, you can see we start coming back down. Okay, so that to me is not an area to be long right now. Okay, so the other concern that I do have is that our closing range is massive. Okay, now when you see a closing range like this, it's 400 points. When you see a closing range at this big, normally what I do is I tend to stay far away from the market, because there's sort of a 50-50 chance of it actually breaking to the upside and continuing, or just staying in this range. Okay, so I've seen it break to the upside and then deliver a 400-point target to the upside. I've seen that happen before, and then I've also seen it just go sideways for a couple of days, and I've also seen it reverse. Okay, so this is not a setup that I'm really interested in at the moment. So the long was here yesterday, as I suggested, but I think that move is over. Now what you want to do is see what's going to transpire. I think the critical aspect here is to watch the hour at the moment, because we do have this fractional break here, but in reality, if you're trading this long, your stop is below here. And if I look to the left, there's not a chance I'm going to be looking at a long here. This is really still all over the place as far as I'm concerned. Okay, what will change my view is if we can pull down at the bottom, get down to the bottom of this opening, the closing range, get some price action here which coincides with the alligator, and that would be an entry long. But yeah, I'm kind of in two minds with regard to that. Okay, so I think for the Aussie today, it's not something that I'm really interested in trading. I've been trading the closing range pretty much for 2 weeks now, and it's worked out more often than not. But at this stage, I'm a little bit concerned about that. So yeah, so I think I don't really have a setup for you at the moment on this thing. I think this measured move here is also done. Yeah, that measured move is done as well. So there's my move, my consolidation, and then my second move up. So that is done. The US markets also had a bit of a consolidation towards the close. And as I said, they are all at significant levels. So I really would not be looking at longs here. I want to see a pullback. If we can get a decent pullback back to come and test this break, I suppose this break here is also an option. So that's 48,176. Let's look at it on the 4 hour. Yeah, so 48,176 is an option that we get a pullback, but I'd like to see a deeper pullback. Okay. I just want to have a quick look at the ichimoku here as well, because that will give us a better picture. So you can see Kijinsen and Chikinsen are not conforming to a bullish crossover. If we had a bullish crossover above the cloud, I'd change my tune. At this stage, it's flat. Cloud is flat. There's nothing happening here. On the daily, okay, trend is up at the moment on the daily. I'll have a look at the weekly. But if you look at the weekly, we are not really in any trend at the moment. Sort of Kijinsen and Chikinsen are flat. Cloud is flat. So we are bearish on the weekly because we're still below the cloud. We don't have a bullish crossover between Kijinsen and Chikinsen. So long as this red line is above the blue, the trend is down. Okay, so that's my view at the moment. Totally confused and going to keep my money in my pocket. If that makes any sense to anybody. So until we see a better setup, so until I see some really decent price action, I'm not interested in chasing these extended bars here. It may continue, may be called wrong, but that's fine. Not really interested in guessing. I only really want to trade the sure bet trades. If I can't see something that I'm comfortable with, I won't trade it. So moral of the story for me right now is I'm looking for a pullback. If I can get a pullback onto a level, and all you need to do is put your levels in. There's one level, look to the left, there's more tails. Okay, and here is another level here. That previous swing low there. Okay, so none of these levels that have been broken through have been tested. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a test, hold, and then I'll look at a long. Okay, so that's my view for now. I don't really have a direction on the Aussie. I am concerned about the international market, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. And the closing range doesn't excite me today. It's too big, way too big for me to get involved in. Okay, so anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'm sitting on my cash here. Probably not even going to trade any of the other markets either, because the setups there are not convincing either. So bank the profits from the longs that we've had, and now I'm going to wait to see for the next setup. Anyway, guys, that's it. Enjoy the day and stay safe. Whatever you do, keep those stops really tight. And catch you later. Cheers for now.